Hi, I'm Dr. Brittany Harker Martin, or Dr. Britt. Today I work as a tenured associate professor at the University of Calgary, Canada. I teach arts teachers at the university, and I also teach teachers in the school system how to integrate the arts into the core subjects. Plus, I have my PhD in business, where I use psychology to understand innovation adoption and resistance to change away from the status quo. On November 9th, 1989, I was in high school in Saskatchewan, Canada. I remember seeing the footage on my TV and just being amazed that this epic symbol of oppression was being sat on and waved from and chiseled away. Ooh, I love this question. So I always wanted to be a writer, and yes, my dream did come true very early. I was 6 years old when I published my first poem in the local newspaper. It was a blatant ripoff of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," where I just reworded it to the rhyme scheme using my own words. I'm not sure they should have rewarded that plagiarism, but I was hooked and felt like this is definitely my calling. And since then, I've been writing nonstop. The fact that I have a job as a professor that pays me to sit and write is just a dream come true. My research breaks the wall of seeing art as an option because, in fact, art is an essential part of who we are as human beings. It's how our brains are wired to work, and we are not well without it. Neuroscience tells us that our brains actually crave artistic experiences and reward us with feel-good chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. The arts can even balance toxic levels of cortisol when you're stressed out to calm and center us. Your mind is designed to respond positively to visual processes. That good feeling is your brain saying, yes, I am engaged in this. I love this. And you get a little chemical boost as a reward for it. The same thing happens when you engage in visual art. Well, not always, and not always at first. There can be a cognitive struggle while the busy mind resists letting go, and that is what my art-based exercises target. They're designed using the science in a way that assists with this letting go so that the mental rewards of artistic process can actually be experienced and achieved. So I'm knocking down that wall with my artworks method that involves specific art-based exercises designed to create conditions for mindfulness and to shift mental states. My participants use art to shift in and out of different mental states based on psychology, art, and neuroscience in a way that they experience their own self-regulation. Once they get it, they can then practice it regularly. In this way, art is not an option. It's an essential, healthy mental habit, as important as proper diet and physical exercise. The essential new finding is my breakthrough pedagogy that uses art for mental health. The artworks method draws on research in art, psychology, and neuroscience for a new artistic process that accesses different mental states. This is not your typical art project. And it is not art therapy because it's not an intervention for mental illness. It is promotion of wellness through art, like yoga for the mind. I've taken Gestalt holistic processes from the field of art, what Edwards called the R mode, updated them with contemporary neuroscience, and blended them with the psychology of cognitive engagement to create a new method for accessing different states of mind in a way that you can learn about it, practice it, and master it. I then unpack the neuroscience of what is happening in the brain so students have their own capacity for understanding and managing their mental wellness. It's a proprietary instructional design using specific brushstrokes, pen work, and sculpting techniques to deactivate overworked parts of the mind and activate others. And bonus, the art supplies that we use are low cost and reusable. It's an economically accessible and sustainable option for schools around the world. The science that informs the artworks method includes mapping how the brain responds to art-based stimuli, which regions are activated and deactivated, research measuring brain waves in response to mindfulness, and studies measuring neurobiological effects. In this way, the artworks method is an educational breakthrough because it combines knowledge on visual and psychological processes with neuroscientific explanations. Art and science have never been used like this before. Right now, at the University of Calgary, I'm collaborating with Alberta Health Services to roll out our method across the province. We have a program, we call it Brain Smoothies. It's art that feeds the mind. And right now we are training health service providers who are then working in schools to train the teachers who will be using it in the classroom. To give you an idea of that scale, the entire country of Germany can fit inside the province of Alberta. The Alberta Health Services Mental Health Capacity Building in Schools initiative actually reaches over 100,000 students. So that's huge social impact. And we won't stop there. The program is readily scalable to address mental health capacity building around the world. And in doing so, we can contribute to the United Nations Sustainable Goal number 3 in promoting well-being for all ages. I'm going to be honest, convincing the field of psychology to be open-minded about art for mental health is something that keeps me up at night. And that, I think, is really the true barrier for me to overcome, because the field of psychology owns mental health. Despite this, with all that we know from the field of psychology about the mind, and with all that they have taught us, the knowledge, the understanding, the effective interventions on mental health and mental health issues, we still have a mental health crisis that is spiraling out of control. And I really think it's time we look at some other ways of knowing and be open to giving those a shot. So my mom is my number one fan, of course. She loves the program. And when the pandemic first hit, she was one of my online participants, along with my nieces and nephews and kids' friends, all the people that I offered free sessions to, just to try to make self-isolation a little less isolated. The appeal of the method is ageless. So preschoolers love it. My grad students love it. Grandma loves it.